Welcome back to GOT. Today we're going to unpack this UPerfect dual screen monitor. It's quite big, and we're going to do some testing on this thing, and I'll give you a full review on this setup. Let's go. So this is the package, and this is the monitor we are going to review, and we'll cover that here in just a second. Let's check out what's in this package. Here is a manual. It looks like it comes with the cables you need to connect it, and actually has several cables that you can connect it with, and that's pretty good. We'll go over each of these as we review this thing, and then it looks like what's in this little box here, and check it out, it even comes with its own power source, which is something that is scarce these days, products coming with their power adapter. Now, of course, first thought I have is, does one adapter cover the whole thing? We'll have to find out. So let me get this moved outside and let's dig into it. I'm going to be jumping forward in this video quite a bit to save a lot of time. Okay, looking at the back of this thing, you can see it's got this little kickstand right here. Wow, that's pretty stiff, solid. So I guess that's meant to hold this thing up like so. So that's pretty nifty. And as you can see, it's like all my phones that I have, it's a foldable. Check it out. It's 2-screen. More reminiscence of the Surface Duo than my current foldable phones. But we're going to check this thing out in full detail. Let's go over some of the specs of this book real quick, or does it even have the specs in it? You can see it's got several ports, and I wonder if you just plug one of these into power and then it powers the other one with another cable. I guess we're going to find out. So as you can see here, it has 2 screens, 18 by 5 inches, and that's quite a bit. And then you have, of course, the full color gamut. It's a touchscreen as well, so that's a really cool thing. I'm looking forward to trying that out. So I have a laptop. It's actually a touchscreen, but if you have a MacBook or something that's not a touchscreen, use this. You suddenly have a touchscreen. Now, both screens are, looks like 1080p, which is great, and 16 millisecond response time. That's a little slow, but for what I would use it for, not an issue. And then, of course, 16.9 aspect ratio. That's a really good ratio to have on a screen. So that's enough about that. Let's get into it and see what this thing looks like. You're actually going to get a different view of my studio than normal. This is crazy. I need this to be able to put this thing in camera view. So let's go ahead and check it out. As you can see, it's got this really nice stand, and this is very stiff, and you could set it up for multiple angles. Let's see, that's the biggest angle you can get right there. So that's pretty nifty, or I keep saying nifty. That's pretty nice. And I guess if you're an artist and you want to draw it with your finger, that really works very nicely. And then let's see this thing. That's really stiff to open up. Check that out. And beautiful looking screens on the inside. They did have a film on the inside on both of them. I already took that off, but you can see they're nice and pristine. And hello, you can see my reflection right there in the screen. Yeah, let's see if we turn it to the camera here. Can you see the whole thing? That thing is huge. 18 and a half inches. And I'm really looking forward to see how this thing will work when you're in a dual screen mode and traveling, because I do a bit of traveling and I like to do more, and it'd be nice to have a studio with me on the fly, because before this I would use 2 screens side by side and need a lot of tabletop space. This is pretty nice because I don't have to do that with it being stackable. So we're going to see how this works, and I'm also going to test it in a 2-monitor mode, having 2 devices hooked up to it. So we got a lot of testing to do, and I'm going to show you how this thing works in several different layouts once I get this thing all together. So we'll be back as soon as I figure this thing out and get it mastered. So here you are with the first configuration. I've got my laptop, my Surface right here, and the extended monitor, an 18.5 versus a 15. You can see all that extra real estate makes it really nice. And of course, I can open up an app here, the starters, and just drag it over here, snap it in, and it takes up the full page, which is really nice. And I can go ahead and open up a YouTube video if I wanted to, play it, or I can do my work on this one versus this one over here. So it's a really good setup. Now, to set that up, all you need is power. You can actually power the monitor off of your laptop, but it'll drain the battery pretty fast. So I went ahead and hooked it up to power, which is the bottom one here, and up here, hook USB-C to USB-C, which also powers the laptop from the monitor as long as the monitor is plugged in. I happen to have it plugged into a portable power station right here just to make it easy for myself here. So you can see here, this is the first basic configuration. Now, if you want to, you've got a second screen here that you could just pull right on up. There's a button here on the side, and you just choose what you want to do. So press the button, and then there's a toggle here. You go up and down. So let's go ahead and just expand to both of these. And what you do is you toggle to it, and then you press that button that you toggle with, and it'll go ahead and reset. There we go. Now we've got all three set up, and it looks like I had an app opened up earlier, and I want to go ahead and no, I don't want to save that. So now you have three. And the way this is set up is this is my main here, and I can show you to open up the displays. Here you've got number one is the main laptop here. And then if I slide straight over, I can get to this bottom screen and go the other direction, takes me up top. So that's an interesting way for it to work. Now, in playing with it the little bit of time that I have, it's been a bit confusing on what is going to pop up where. In other words, I'm going to go ahead and hit Chrome. Okay, it's over here because I last used it over here. I'm going to hit the internet here, explore, and it came over here, or I guess that's Edge now, and put it back over here. And then over here, if I want to open up something else, I don't know, let's say an editor. And I think the editor was last down here. So it's right back there again. And you have to go all the way across and across to get to it. And if I want to take this over, I got to keep dragging it and I can bring it up there. All right, there we go. Now I've got an editor up here if I wanted to edit a photo, whatever, browser down here. So this is pretty neat. And another thing about this is if you take this screen right here and fold it down like so, and there's stand, you got to retract the stand that's underneath here. I don't know if you can see it. Retract it, there we go. And then this folds like a tree, and now you can see the other monitor is right there. So you can actually say you got a kid here with headphones on, you could be playing a video for your kid while you're doing over here working. That's pretty neat. I like that. That's a really cool feature. So you can tent this thing and use the monitors separately like that. Now there is another way to function with this thing, and let me see if I can get this stand back out here. You know, it's pretty big and heavy. It's not real easy to manipulate, but I think it's worth it. So there you go, back up and going. So there's another way to do it. You can actually, here on the side, there are HDMI ports. You can actually hook those up separately and use them separately on your computer. And the way that works is here, you can see right here, you can do sequence where you have this one and this full computer, and I'll show you how that works here. So what you do is you press this button here and you go down to sequence here and you press the button that you switch with. Now what's going to happen is it's going to go back to this being my main screen and this whole thing over here being the second screen, which is pretty nifty. So see there, I've got this whole screen over here on this other side. So I open up this app, watch this, I drag it over and it takes up the entire screen. Isn't that wild? Let's go to Amazon store here. So this could be where it would be useful. If you're in Amazon, there you go. You got a full screen to browse Amazon. Or you could take your app here and just shrink it down. But you have to manipulate it manually right here to fit your screen, as you can see. And then you'd have the bottom portion to do something else with. The nice thing about doing it this way is it's just right and left. Go back from your main screen to this thing. So that's an interesting setup. I don't know if I would ever use it this way because of how difficult it could be to manage it, you know, but it's an option. Now I'm curious what it'll do when you fold that over. So let's fold that over. What happens? I believe it just turns off that monitor, right? No, it's on. Wow, interesting. And is it extended as a full app? That's weird. Okay, I lost my mouse. I can't see my mouse. It's on. Oh, I see it. It's going to the other side. So that is not a use case for this monitor. I would not do that. So there you go. But as you can see here, it's really nice how that automatically spins itself or flips itself over so it could be seen from the other side. So this is not really a setup I don't think I would use. I would go more with the 3 monitors or just using it as 2 monitors side by side and not using that top screen. Let's see what other kind of configuration it has. Okay, so here's another crazy configuration if it's something you're into. I've got my laptop here and an extended screen, as you can see right here. And then up top, I have a second monitor. So when you have this set in second monitor view, such as here, standalone, 2 monitors, I didn't realize you needed a second source. So I plugged in my cell phone, my Samsung Z Fold 7, and now it's displaying up on top. And notice how nothing's happening here. This is still a phone all on its own. I don't have to use it along with this. I could totally use it separately. I could turn it on and I can check my email here, check that out. I can make a phone call from up here. Of course, it'll go through my phone. So everything works just the same. I could check my email, send that if I wanted to. Okay. It works as a second monitor. And for me, it'd probably be smarter to do it down here. It'd be easier to reach up there and use this one to extend up there. I mean, you got so many different ways that you can do this. It's pretty cool. And of course, having decks from your phone displayed there is another cool feature. And check this out. This is pretty interesting. Dex mode here and Magic Desktop right here from the Honor Magic V3 playing on the 2 different screens. We'll do a comparison video on these 2 desktop apps here in the future, as well as the Pixel or the Google Pixel desktop. So now it's time for hear from you. If you have any questions about the products, the setup or anything, leave it down in the comments. I always respond to all my comments and I'll love to answer your questions. You know, do you like this setup here? You've got the 2 monitors here. You can actually go for a single monitor with a fold, which is pretty slick too, if that's something that you like. So I'll leave a link below for their website as well as some discount codes so you can get a savings on the products. If you've never used a foldable product or a Z Fold, or if you want to learn more about it, check out this video here. Now, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, God bless.